Maayong adlaw Pilipinas, maayong adlaw Cebu. Welcome to another episode of Hotseat. I am your host, Jacob Unabia, and this online show is being presented to you by Kanaas Gikan Sa Amihanan. I am joined by my co-host, Janine Recopelacion, and today we have a very special guest. He is a sports television personality, a former sports anchor of UAAP and the PBA, and now he takes on a new role of being the creative director for sports programs over at Signal TV. Ladies and gentlemen, he is here today. Our guest for the fifth episode of Hot Seat is no other than Mr. Mico Halili.
Hello. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Janine, and good day to all your viewers.
Coincidentally, si Sir Mico ay host din po ng isang programa sa Signal TV na ang title ay Hot Seat din.
Pero mas maganda tong program mo ata eh. Kami yung second best hot seat show.
Wow.
Parang yung pressure. Sir Mico, being a sportscaster, your childhood dream po?
Actually, no. Hindi. When I was growing up, I started watching basketball parang 5-6 years old. I was already watching. But all throughout grade school, all throughout high school, all throughout college, I never imagined that I would be a sportscaster. I never imagined that I would have a career in sports. Basta super enjoy lang ako manood. I was just a fan. I loved watching the teams that I supported and the players that I idolized, and that was it. Hindi ko inakala that that at some point sports would be my career. So to answer your question, hindi siya childhood dream, kasi never in my wildest dreams did I think na pwede pala akong lumabas sa TV to talk about sports.
Pero po, who are your idols po when it comes to sports broadcasting po? And then, why did you admire them? Kasi sabi niyo po, hindi niyo childhood dream, pero meron po ba kayong mga idols when it comes to sports broadcasting po?
Yeah, okay. Well, Janine, kasi when I was growing up, so nood lang ako nood ng sports, no. Like PBA, parang napupuyat ako when I was a kid watching the PBA games. And very early on, the late great Joe Cantada was someone na parang bilib na bilib talaga ako. Like I wouldn't say that I idolized him, kasi nga hindi ko naman inisip na pwede kong gawin yung ginagawa niya someday. But I enjoyed watching the games that he covered kasi he was eloquent, he was erudite, he quoted poetry, he quoted Shakespeare during PBA games, galing niya magsalita, nakakatawa siya. I mean, yun galing niya eh, parang he's so versatile. Like he can be eloquent, he can be funny, he can make fun of himself, never took himself too seriously. But you could, or I could sense even at a very early age na he loved the game and he respected the game. So much so that when he would cover, I mean, I could tell na parang iba yung effort na binubuhos niya, na yun nga, parang for him to, parang imagine in a PBA game, like a Hinebra game, and then he'll quote Shakespeare or mga ganyan. So parang wow, pwede pala yun. Like, parang you can be you can sort of give that kind of 110% effort when you cover sports. And I think parang nangyari sa akin, that was parang tumatak siya sa utak ko, in my young mind. So siguro kaya when I finally got the crazy opportunity to be a sportscaster, siguro naka tanim na siya sa utak ko. And I was able to sort of access those memories ni Joe Cantada. Kaya siguro parang he would be top of mind pagdating sa parang local commentators that I quote-unquote idolized.
May instances po ba, can you recall po instances or episodes in your childhood po while watching your idols na ginagaya niyo po sila? Tapos nanonood kayo ng mga sports, mga naglalaro sa inyo, tapos parang sinasabi niyo sa sarili niyo, tapos parang okay, gagawin ko to, tapos ginagaya niyo yung mga idols. So meron po bang instances na ganun?
Oo, kasi 'di ba pag bata kasi tayo, 'di ba? Gusto lang natin manggaya eh. So, kung ano yung nakikita natin, subukan natin gayahin, 'di ba? So, mabuti na lang dalawa kasi pinapanood ko nung bata ko eh, PBA tsaka wrestling. Buti yung wrestling hindi ko ginagaya in in real life. So, yung PBA yung ginagaya ko. So, what I would do, edi kunyari, nung gabi nanood ako ng ano, kasi yung team ko noon, favorite team ko was Toyota. So yan sila Jaworski, Arnaiz, Mon Fernandez, ganyan. So kinabukasan, maglalaro na ako sa court. Mayroon kaming court kasi doon sa sa likod ng bahay. Tapos pupunta ako maglalaro mag-isa. Panganay ako eh. So wala akong kalaro. Mag-isa lang ako. So ang gagawin ko, syempre gagayahin ko si Jaworski, gagayahin ko si Francis Arnaiz, gagayahin ko si Mon Fernandez. Tapos in my head, nagpe-play-by-play ako. So so dalawa yung ginagaya ko. Ginagaya ko yung players, tapos ginagaya ko din yung commentator. So kunyari, so in my head, parang Jaworski dribbling the basketball, passes to Arnaiz and over to Fernandez with the elegant shot, ganyan. So parang akong baliw dun sa court na parang meron akong yung my imagination is going wild, but I never knew that doing all of that, no? Kasi from grade school and I mean aminin ko na hanggang high school siguro ginagawa ko 'yun eh. Siguro hanggang college eh, kahit nasa covered courts ako, ginagawa ko pa din 'yun in my head.
Mag-isa na po kayo noon, ano?
Hindi, medyo okay na, may friends na ako noon.
Akala ko alam college mo.
Para
Mag-isa pa
isipin
rin
yung
kayo.
loner ako na walang hindi naman nagkaroon ako ng mga barkada noon. But pero kahit paano in my head, even if naglalaro ako ng whether it's lang, naglaro lang ng lunch break or intrams or whatever, siguro in my head, umaandar pa rin siya, parang nandun pa rin yung play-by-play. So, kaya nung nagkaroon na ako ng break to do play-by-play, nangyari, siguro swerte lang talaga that parang naging na siya, na-program na siya sa utak ko and I kind of had an idea na of how you're supposed to talk, how it's supposed to sound pag ginawa mo na siya as work, as a job.
Can you recall po your first experience po doing play-by-play on TV for the first time? Na-recall po ba ninyo yun?
Yes, yeah. I mean, the first times kasi in your life you never forget. So the first time na I did actual play-by-play kasi my break talaga was courtside. So yun talaga yung pinakauna kong prior to that was sports reporter, then courtside reporter. So syempre hindi pa rin play-by-play yun eh, no? But then I finally got my break. This was 1998. Yeah, 1998. Tapos courtside reporter ako noon, pero naubusan sila ng anchor. Para kumbaga either hindi available or may nagkasakit. I mean, I don't remember the exact reason bakit naubusan ng anchor. Pero at that point, they needed an anchor emergency kasi wala silang makuha. And then the day before the game, they decided na sige, yung si Mico subukan natin. So sige, so they asked me to do the game. It was this was the NBA, yung dati yung regional league before. And it was the Northern Conference Finals between Manila and Pampanga. I think it was game 5 if I'm not mistaken. Tapos yun, so they told me the night before, so you can just imagine yung pawis ko nung the night before kasi parang sinabihan ako, Mico galingan mo ikaw mag-anchor bukas. So parang ako, oh my God, parang sige. I mean, I just did my best to prepare. Nanood ako ng mga VHS tapes ng mga games, ganyan. And then, parang bahala na si Lord. Basta, basta lang, I just had to prepare and do my best. So, fortunately, okay naman. Hindi naman ako nagkalat, I guess. Nakita naman nila na, uy, kaya pala niya, ganyan. So, and I'm forever grateful. I'm forever grateful to ABS-CBN Sports because they were the ones who really gave me my first break as courtside reporter, my first break as anchor, and I mean those things you never forget.
Na-remember niyo pa rin po ba how did you prepare for that broadcast, that first broadcast?
Yeah,
The same pa rin po ba ngayon? Yung
Ngayon,
preparations nyo?
well, ngayon kasi wala nang VHS tapes eh. Lahat nasa whatever
Yes.
nasa YouTube na eh.
YouTube na.
Yeah, it's so much easier. And then at that time, hindi ka pa makapag-research sa internet. So, mano-mano lahat. I guess siguro parang the actual process has changed, has evolved. But the spirit of being prepared, siguro hindi na yan mawawala. I mean, even as I enter, na ba ako, basta 20 plus na yun. Hindi, tumigil na magbilang eh, nung tumapak na ng 20 years in the industry eh. So, I've been doing it for over 20 years and parang each time I prepare for a game, lalo na if it's a big game, I still get nervous to this day. Kinakabahan pa rin ako because that's the pressure, I guess, I put on myself to make sure that I do a good job. So whether, in my over 10 years in the PBA and then, recently with the UAAP, basta, parang if I'm excited to cover a game, kinakabahan ako kasi I know I have to do a good job in order to serve fans. So yeah, the process has evolved because nga of technology and the tools that are available to us right now. Pero the essence of wanting to do a good job, the essence of preparing to do a good job in the service of the fan, siguro yun di na talaga mawawala.
Sir Mico, yung nung college po ako, college po kami ni Janine, may sports fest po kami. Yung CRMC College Festa Games. Dati po, nag-a-announce po ako sa basketball games.
He was trying to be like you po.
May mga terminologies po kayo na ginagaya ko po dati. For example, yung traveling, yung dancing with the wrong pair of shoes. Parang nagmamarvel yung mga kikinig sa akin. Hindi nila alam na inopya ko lang po yun sa inyo. Ito po bang mga paggamit nyo ng figurative language? Paano po ito? How did this came about? Unique po kayo eh.
Okay, so i-connect natin yan dun sa tanong ni Janine kanina. Tinanong niyo ako sino yung mga parang naging idol ko when I was younger. And ako talaga, I will always pay homage to the ones that came before me. So if Ron, kung ikaw parang, thank you at may kahit paano may napulot ka from what I do. Ako naman, ang dami kong kinuha from the people that I grew up watching. So yan, yung, di ba sabi ko kanina, I shared that sobrang bilib na bilib ako sa eloquence ni Joe Cantada. That's where I got it. Yung parang para bang the effort that you put to make the game more interesting, to use, a combination of words para mas maging entertaining yung laro that we cover. So doon ko nakuha yun, yung that kind of mindset na paano kaya natin pagagandahin tong coverage para sa fans? How can we make it more interesting? How can we parang use parang words to not naman parang para lang maging highfalutin, diba? Just for the sake of sounding eloquent, but really gusto natin mag-enjoy yung mga tao eh. Gusto natin pag nanood sila, they don't hear the same thing like parang all the time and like I always tell the younger commentators, parang we really have to avoid using cliches. Diba yung mga very tired expressions na parang paulit-ulit na lang ginagamit, diba? So it's a challenge. It's a constant challenge to create, to reinvent yung parang make this game that we love sound new all the time. And ako nakuha ko lang yan from the people that I watched. So whether it was Joe Cantada, another idol of mine was the late great Pingoy Tengson. Sila yung magkasabay noon. Siyempre si Idol Sev Sarmenta, my ninong, si Ninong Sev. Ganun din si Ninong Sev. Inidolize si Joe Cantada, doon din niya nakuha yung kanyang eloquence. So parang pasa-pasa lang yan. And so doon yun galing. It's and rin, siguro malaking bagay din ron na ano rin kasi ako medyo addict din kasi ako magbasa eh. I love reading books, I love reading articles. So siguro dala na rin ng a passion for the written work, and I think, as you know, I used to write also. So sulat, basa, ganyan. And so I guess siguro all of those things, it's all parang sort of packed here, and then you get to access that pag ano ka nag-cover ka ng games. So I guess yun, dun yun galing.
Ika nga po imitation is the highest form of flattery. Ano po?
Oo. Napakarami niyo pong books dyan sa likod niyo. Halatang halata.
Hindi. Well, actually, ano na nga yan eh. Medyo ano kasi ako ngayon eh. Medyo minimalist ako eh. So, actually, mga books ng wife ko yan. My books actually, I try not to keep too much. Kasi, I don't know if you've heard of mga Marie Kondo, mga ganyan. Basta yung mga minimalist, parang keep things clean. So, most of my books are, parang nasa phone ko, gano'n digital. Digital na, para hindi mo alam masyadong kalat sa bahay.
Nabanggit ko kanina sa introduction na si Sir Mico ay one of the leading sports personalities here in our country. So marapat lang, tanungin natin siya ukol sa mga basketball-related issues. Kasi we live in a basketball-crazy nation. So first question ko po, Sir Mico, is yung big three po ng Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. In your opinion, how far will this big three of the Brooklyn Nets go?
They should go all the way to the finals, Ron. If you have KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, hindi pwedeng di kaya abot ng NBA finals. I guess winning the championship is another matter altogether. But I mean, with that much talent in the starting lineup, I mean, sobrang galing eh. I mean, people look at their defense and yung mga ganyan na para can they stop the other teams? Do they have chemistry? Yeah, I think those are things naman that you can work on during the season. But as long as you already have the firepower, and KD proven in the postseason, Kyrie proven in the postseason. DC James Harden, it's up to him. Yeah, it's up to him to prove that pag postseason kaya niya maging clutch and kaya niya mag-deliver. So it's going to be fun to watch the team prove to people that they are indeed title contenders.
Can you make a bold prediction po sa NBA Finals? Ano po ba yung maghaharap kaya?
Sure kayo, hindi ako magaling mag-predict eh. Wala akong skill dyan eh. Ikaw, Ron, ibabalik ko yung tanong sa'yo and then I'll tell you what I think. Ikaw, anong prediction mo for NBA Finals?
Yes po ba?
Lakers. Kaya Anthony Davis, si Anthony Davis, question mark eh. But yeah, I mean, you never ever try to bet against LeBron James eh. Even at 36 years old. So,
susunod tanong, do you think LeBron will win the MVP this season?
Kasi every year naman pwede itanong yun eh. For the last 10 years? So my answer that never has not changed in the last 5-7 years. Every year LeBron deserves to win MVP. Lalo na if let's say ngayon kung matagal mawala nga si Anthony Davis and the Lakers parang sort of stay solid, then I mean how can you not seriously consider LeBron James as an MVP candidate?
Pang klase po si LeBron kasi parang 36 years old, kami 37. Tapos he is still in top of his game.
Yep.
Papunta naman po tayo sa PBA. This coming PBA draft is so full of talents. In your opinion, who will be the number one pick?
Kasi the challenging thing lagi about the PBA draft is syempre we are more familiar. I mean, most people are more familiar with the players na dito naglaro. So you're talking about mga tipong mga Jamie Malonzo or mga Joshua Munson, mga ganyan. But there are a number of guys who did not play here. So ito yung mga, mga Phil-Americans trying to put their documents in order. And syempre, all you have are like highlights on YouTube. And di ba, sabi nga ng mga coaches, lahat ng player magaling sa YouTube highlights. Kasi syempre, yung mga best moments yun nandun. So parang lahat ng player that ever made highlights, galing nila lahat. No? So it becomes very challenging to sort of gauge their talent. Like I said, no, I'm not that good. I'm not that good at predicting. If you judge it on what people are saying, yun nga, there are like a handful of names being floated as number one pick, and hopefully nga, if all the Phil-Americans are qualified, they have their documents in order, yun nga. So siguro ang nababasa natin, naririnig natin, like I said earlier, Malonzo, Monzon, some are saying even Mikey Williams could be like a dark horse top pick, no? So let's see. Unfortunately, hindi ako magaling manghula. I wish I was pero
Papunta na po naman po tayo sa issue po ni Kai Sotto. Yesterday na naglabas na statement yung G League informing the public that Kai Sotto will no longer reunite with his Team Ignite. In your opinion po, will Kai Sotto still make it to the NBA?
Well, I think that the mindset, a good mindset to have, no, in looking at Kai Sotto's situation is that this is a long-term dream. Okay, it's not like para bang at this point, no, as we speak, there are like multiple NBA teams that are fighting over Kai. I mean, that's just not the case, and that's fine. Okay lang, it's okay. Meaning, the dream is a long-term one. So, pwede namang pwede namang step by step. Hindi naman siya parang overnight. We go from point A to point B na lottery pick ka na. Hindi naman ganun eh. I mean, I wish Kai was at a level na parang Jalen Green na talagang for sure, top 5 in the draft. But hindi ganun yung situation. And therefore, kailangan niyang paghirapan and you have to take it step by step and go through the process. Now, is it disappointing?
Na Kai Sotto should have taken the European route?
It's hard kasi to just parang say mas okay kung nag-Europe siya. I mean, di natin alam. I mean, the only way to know if a certain route is better is if Kai actually takes that route. So even the European route, even if in theory, parang syempre, there are people that will argue na dapat nag-Europe na lang siya. Yeah, maybe on paper, it makes better sense. But until you do that route, that's the only way you'll know. So, I'll give an example. What if let's say nag-Europe nga si Kai, but he ends up on a team that, parang hindi maganda yung chemistry, hindi maganda yung culture. Paano kung yung coach, di siya type, di siya gusto? Then the Europe route would not work. And then other people will say, tingnan mo, dapat nag-G League na lang siya. So, as in any basketball situation, ang daming factors involved. Even when you enter the PBA draft, not because you're number one pick, that means you'll have a great career. Kasi it will depend on who your teammates are, the system that you're playing in, and the same is true for Kai. So, yung kay Kai, mabuti na lang, bata pa siya. Hindi naman siya kailangan magmadali. Kailangan ba nasa NBA na siya next year? Not really, hindi naman. So, I feel na, syempre, na-excite lang talaga yung mga tao. Of course, we're excited. Di ba? We want to see, Kai do well, score 20, 30 points in the G League, and then make it to the NBA. But, as in most things in life, pag meron kang pangarap, pinaghihirapan yun. It's not supposed to be easy. Right? Hindi naman lahat parang LeBron James na grade 7 pa lang pinag-aagawan na ng NBA teams, di ba? Hindi lahat ganon. I mean, those are once-in-a-generation players. Now, in Kai's case, he is once-in-a-generation sa Pilipinas, but when you put him in a setting na kasama niya best in the world, then that's a challenge. And if it's a challenge, kailangan yan, medyo may patience ka. So, I understand why people are frustrated and disappointed. Oy, sayang, ba't di siya nakabalik ng G League and ganito, ganyan. But if you think long term, it's an obstacle. And then so, ang gagawin na lang ni Kai is overcome, these obstacles and kaya na parang work step by step. Now, I use the term long term because even yung kanyang participation in the G League is long term. Now, not because hindi siya nakalaro in this current bubble, hindi ibig sabihin nun, hindi na siya mag-G League ever. He could easily play in the G League in the next tournament. Pwede yun. Pwede mangyari yun. He can still be part of Ignite. Yung sa Gilas, hindi siya nakalaro kasi na-cancel yung Qatar. In the future, pwede naman siyang makalaro. I mean, we're looking at the 2023 World Cup. So, Kai is very much part of that plan na pagdating ng 2023 World Cup, by that time, talagang kasama na si Kai dun sa lineup. So it's all long term. Now, if 10 years or no, 10, but if maybe like 5 years from now, nag-usap tayo ulit, inimbita mo ako ulit, Ron and Janine, and then we're talking about Kai, and then parang medyo malayo pa din siya dun sa NBA dream, and he would be 23 by that time. Then it's going to be different. Expectations will be different. But yun nga he's 18. Marami pa siyang pwedeng magawa, marami pa siyang pwedeng ma-accomplish. A lot of things can still happen. So ako, I don't see any reason why, like personally, why I should be frustrated. I mean, just take it step by step. As anything in life, if you have a dream, you work at it, you find a way, and eventually, makukuha mo rin yung gusto mo.
Parang sinasabi nyo na work in progress pa si Kai. He's still 18 years old naman po, di ba? We are putting too much pressure sa bata.
I think parang anybody who goes after a big dream, it's like parang shooting for the moon, di ba? Naturally, you will have people expecting a lot.
Yes.
And, di ba? And ako naman parang hindi mo rin masisi yung mga tao in getting excited. I don't blame people for being so emotionally invested in Kai Sotto kasi yung pangarap niya, pangarap naman natin lahat yun. Totoo lang, di ba? I mean, we're all living vicariously through Kai. So, naintindihan ko kung bakit people are really affected by what's happening to his career. And it's really just everybody wanting to see him make it. Diba? Kasi it's going to give us such tremendous pride if, parang if Kai makes it to the NBA. Kaya pag medyo nadidiskaril yung yung process niya, parang in a sense, parang pare-pareho tayong nasasaktan. Parang tayo din yung nadi-disappoint, diba? And you can just imagine if we are parang frustrated, you can just imagine what Kai is also feeling. But again, kung alam mong you're on the path, diba? Meron ka sinusundan na plano, diba? Basta susundan mo lang yung plano na yon, and you try and just focus, diba? I mean, I'm sure naapektuhan din siguro si Kai with everything, mga sinasabi ng tao. But end of the day, I mean, that's your career and that's your life and that's your plan. And so you focus on that. And I know that Kai is focused on that. And so, ayun, I mean, hindi naman madali yung ginagawa niya na wala siya dito sa Pilipinas. Doon siya sa ibang bansa. I will never underestimate how challenging that is for Kai. Na mas madali naman kung nandito lang siya, di ba? It would have been much more comfortable life if dito lang siya, just stayed here, di ba? Parang,
malapit sa pamilya.
I mean, di ba? Parang the life that he's used to, but no, he decided na, okay, I'm going to take on the challenge. And look, honestly, kung ako kasing tangkad ni Kai at had that talent, I honestly don't know if I would have the guts to leave the Philippines and chase the dream. Kasi remember, when you declare that you're chasing the NBA dream, you're basically telling people, mangangarap ako So, na to? It's sort of like a go signal for everyone to criticize me.
Na-expose bali.
Di ba? Mangangarap ka na mataas So, mag-a-ambition ka. Not everybody will, I mean, a lot of people will support you, but there are some people that will also say, wala yan, di naman kaya, ganyan. But that's part of it. And so, ako, that's why parang for me, it's a long-term plan. It's a big dream. And, parang if Kai, I know Kai has the patience and the parang sort of inner strength na hindi kakayanin niya yan. Kakayanin niya to see it through.
So, yes, Ron.
I also believe, I also support what Sir Mico had said about Kai. Shadow pang bata, still have so much time ahead of him. I'm sure naman si Kai laser-like focus yan. He's already in the cusp of making it to the NBA. So, dapat talaga mag-pursue siya. Hindi pa naman huli yung lahat. Hindi pa naman siyang pursue.
But taking everything step by step, diba?
Oh,
One step at a time.
Sabi nga ni Sir Mico, you shoot for the moon. And even if you miss, you will land among the stars.
Hey, look, if you look at Kai's situation, di ba? Ano bang pinaka na mangyayari? Pinaka-conservative na mangyayari sa kanya? What if yun nga, okay, let's say babalik siya sa Pilipinas. Ano ba yung other, one spectrum is NBA. The other spectrum is going to be a sure number 1 overall pick ng PBA. That's not bad. Okay na yun, di ba? Di ba parang whatever happens, he's okay. So pwede siyang NBA, Europe, dami niyang pwedeng he has so many options right now, and I mean, ako talaga can't help but be excited for him because of the many options that he is creating for his life and career. All these things na pinagdadaanan niya ngayon is just going to make him emotionally, physically stronger. So honestly, I'm happy for him.
Now, let's talk about your love life po. Kamusta naman po yung love life natin? I know everyone wants to know about your love life po, especially your fans, especially Jacob po.
May love team ako eh. Married life, okay. I've been married now for, tama ba yung bilang ko?
Awal magkamali, Sir Mico.
Naku po.
Going 17 years. Tama ba? 17 years. Wait, teka. Baka mali din ako eh. Baka outside ako lambo ako. Teka.
Talagang
18 pala, sorry. 18 years na pala. So, yeah. Yes, baka some of your viewers might know who my wife is. She works in GMA7. She's a newscaster. Her name's Pia Arcangel, and so far so good.
ilan na po yung anak niyo, Sir Mico?
We have a daughter. We have a teenage daughter.
Dati, Sir Mico, naalala ko kulay po kayo ng buhok, blue, yung color. Naalala ko.
Huwag na natin balikan yun. Mga mga midlife crisis moment. Buti nga, hindi pa uso ang Instagram nun eh. So, wala nang masyado nakakaalala nun, which is a good thing.
Pero may screenshot po. Nakikita pa rin po. Now, we at Kanaas po are celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. 10 years na po kami. The longest running community newspaper here in the Northern Cebu. Do you have message po for us here in Kanaas, the writers and the staffs of Kanaas?
Congratulations to Kanaas. 10 great years of serving your community. Parang yung trabaho natin, no, in telling stories, sharing stories, documenting events, that is a public service. It's a privilege for us, no, to have this kind of job and this kind of career. Siguro my lang is, I guess my apart from congratulating all of you, is also hoping that hindi tayo magsawa in serving our communities, in parang serving them through entertaining them, informing them, surprising them with great stories. If ang trabaho natin is to cover sports, then wag sana tayong mapagod, magsawa in figuring out the best way to tell the story of a game, to tell the story of an athlete, para hindi rin magsawa yung mga tao in loving sports the way we do, di ba? In loving sports stories the way we do, so that they can also contribute and continue what you guys are doing so that your publication continues doing what it does best.
Thank you very much po. Before we
Okay, sige.
before we let you go po, nais ko lang po talagang marinig kung paano po, can you do a play-by-play kahit konti lang po. Like what you do when you were young po, kahit wala naglalaro.
When I was young.
Tatlo naman po tayo dito.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. So para so ito yung you're bringing me back to nung bata pa ako na nag-i-imagine pa ako. So para it would probably sound in my head, it would sound something like Janine bringing down the basketball and Cebu is down by 2 points. Janine looks to the right. Ron Jacob is wide open. Janine passes to Ron Jacob. Ron Jacob with the fake. He fires. He scores. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Ayun.
Mico, babalik po ba kayo sa PBA?
Hindi ko alam eh. Hindi ko pa alam. Kasi in my current capacity now, I'm actually very busy doing a lot of office work. Something funny that happened in 2020, it was the first time that in one full year, hindi ako nakapag-cover ng kahit isang basketball game. So not since, the last time this happened was 1997. Was the last year na, kasi hindi pa ako play-by-play noon. But so from 1998 to 2019, at least meron akong isang basketball game na na-cover as a commentator. 2020, wala. Not one. Na-realize ko lang yan actually, parang last week lang ata, naisip ko, wala pa naman na-cover ng basketball game. So, kaya thank you for making me do play-by-play kasi nami-miss ko na eh. Tagal-tagal na hindi nakapag-commentate. But returning to the PBA, I guess you never know. Hindi natin alam, hindi natin masabi. But right now, I'm very much focused on my current work. Doon napupunta yung oras ko, yung energies ko ngayon in my duties for Signal TV. So, yun. I guess it's all part of, evolution, all part of growth and learning new things. And besides, I'm always excited to watch, parang the next generation, the younger guys, get their opportunities and get the chance to, do what I was able to do. So, rin siya, masaya din to watch, younger guys get the chance.
Nakaka-miss po yung Game 7 ng PBA Finals tapos kayo po nag-annotate. Nakaka-miss. Sana po bumalik po kayo.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ron. Tingnan natin, hindi naman tayo nagsasalita ng never or tapos. If the opportunity is there, of course. Sa akin, any chance to serve the fans, sports fans, PBA fans, UAP fans, tayo dyan, game tayo dyan because kaya tayo nabigyan ng ganitong mga skills is to use it, no, para matuwa yung mga sports fans ng Pilipinas.
Last na lang po, Sir Mico. Ito po ay question ko po since I was a kid. Bakit po ang tawag nyo kay Dominic Uy ay Senyor El Conquistador?
Because si Dominic, nakita mo naman si Dominic, di ba? Walang dugong Pilipino yun eh. De, joke lang. Meaning kasi tisoy eh, di ba? Sobrang mistisong-mistiso. Kaya nasa kanya na lahat eh. Matangkad, gwapo, tisoy. Hindi na lang pwede ko gawin. Hindi pagtitripan ko na lang siya, di ba? So kaya lang yun, para lambing lang natin yan. It's a way to kumbaga make people feel na, alam mo, when we cover games, magkakaibigan lang kami and we're just hanging out. So that's why parang ganyan, we come up with nicknames for our partners, di ba? Minsan madalas kami magbiruan, madalas kami mag-alaskahan. Alam mo naman, Ron, kung gaano kami katindi maglokohan nila Dominic, nila Jason Webb, Richard Del Rosario, ganyan. Because on and off the court, talagang magkakaibigan kami and we, parang objective namin lagi is pag nagko-cover kami ng game, mag-enjoy kayo. That's it. Yun lang kasi, ganun kasimple. Parang nag-enjoy lang tayong lahat, whether we're commentating or you're watching at home. We're all just parang enjoying like watching a game together at the end of 2 hours. Gusto lang namin, napatawa namin kayo, na medyo napaisip ng konti, baka sana may natutunan kayo. And then you'd want to do it all over again in the next game. So, kaya yun. Kaya nakakaisip kami ng mga ganong klaseng nickname for each other.
That's it. So, thank you po.
Thank you
Maraming
very much.
oras.
Ay,
Mico.
ako talaga ang kailangang magpasalamat, Janine and Ron, for guesting me, for inviting me to your show, for giving me the chance to share whatever it is that I know to your viewers. And it is a privilege for me to be part of an industry that includes you, Janine, and includes you, Ron. So we're all in this together, sama-sama tayo, being in service to the Filipino fans. So congratulations again to your publication. 10 great years and many more great years to come. And again, it was an honor to share this episode with you guys.
It's our honor din po na to have you on our show. Maraming salamat po, Sir Mico. And
Thank you
this has
po.
another episode of Hot Seat. This has been Ron Jacob Unabia.
And Janine Recopelacion. Thank you for watching this episode. See you next time. Thank you. Sir Mico, thank you po for
Sir
giving
Mico.
us time.
Bless you po.
God bless po.